The classification of political ideologies into left and right wings is a fundamental framework for understanding and analyzing the diverse landscape of political thought and action. This division is often used to categorize, contrast, and comprehend the broad spectrum of ideas and policies that shape the modern world of politics.
Before we dive in, if you find this content valuable, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below. It truly helps us grow. Now, let's get started.
The origins of this classification can be traced back to the French Revolution of the late 18th century, where seating arrangements in the National Assembly established the convention of left and right based on the positions of members in relation to the presiding officer. The left and right in political ideology represent contrasting worldviews and approaches to governance, economics, and social issues. While this categorization can be a useful tool, it's essential to remember that it's a simplification of complex political ideas and should not be seen as an absolute or universally applicable framework. Moreover, the interpretation of what constitutes left and right can vary across different regions and time periods. In this narration, we will delve into the historical origins, key principles, and notable examples of the left and right wings. Historical origins. The classification of political ideologies into left and right wings finds its roots in the aftermath of the French Revolution, a period of tremendous social and political upheaval. During the French Revolution, supporters of the monarchy, nobility, and the established order typically sat on the right side of the National Assembly. These individuals favored tradition, hierarchy, and the preservation of the existing social and political structure. On the other hand, those who sat on the left side of the assembly were advocates for change, equality, and the rights of the common people. They aimed to challenge the established order and promote greater social and political equality. This seating arrangement symbolized the ideological divide between those who wished to maintain the old order, right, and those who sought to challenge and reform it, left. The labels left and right gradually became associated with broader ideological distinctions and were adopted in various political contexts around the world. The left. The left wing of the political spectrum generally encompasses ideologies that advocate for social equality, government intervention in the economy, and progressive social policies. Here are some key principles and ideologies associated with the left. Social equality. The left often emphasizes the importance of reducing social and economic disparities. They argue for policies that aim to bridge the wealth gap, provide equal access to education and healthcare, and combat discrimination based on race, gender, sexual orientation, or other factors. Government intervention. Left-leaning ideologies tend to support a more significant role for the government in regulating and influencing the economy. This includes policies such as progressive taxation, welfare programs, and labor protections. Environmentalism. Many left-wing movements and parties are concerned about environmental issues and advocate for policies aimed at addressing climate change, sustainability, and the protection of natural resources. Social justice. Leftist ideologies emphasize the pursuit of social justice, which includes addressing historical injustices, such as slavery and colonialism, and fighting for the rights of marginalized groups. Examples of left-wing ideologies. Social democracy. Social democratic parties advocate for a mixed economy with a strong welfare state. They often prioritize universal health care, education, and workers' rights. Examples of countries with social democratic parties include Sweden and Germany. Progressivism. Progressives in the United States seek to address issues like income inequality, healthcare reform, and climate change. Prominent progressive politicians include Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Communism. Communism advocates for the abolition of private property and the establishment of a classless society. Historical examples of communist governments include the Soviet Union and China under Mao Zedong. The right. The right wing of the political spectrum generally consists of ideologies that support limited government intervention in the economy, traditional social values, and a focus on individualism and personal responsibility. Here are some key principles and ideologies associated with the right. Limited government. Right-wing ideologies often argue for reducing government involvement in the economy and personal lives. They emphasize individual freedom and liberty. Traditional values. The right tends to value traditional social and cultural norms, such as traditional family structures, religious values, and conservative moral standards. Free market capitalism. Right-leaning ideologies support free market capitalism, emphasizing minimal regulation and taxation of businesses. They believe that a competitive market leads to economic growth and innovation. Nationalism. Nationalist movements often align with right-wing ideologies and prioritize the interests of their own nation over international cooperation. Examples of right-wing ideologies. Conservatism. Conservative parties in various countries promote traditional values, free market policies, and limited government intervention. Prominent conservative politicians include Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan. Libertarianism. Libertarians advocate for minimal government involvement in both the economy and personal lives. They prioritize individual rights and freedoms and are critical of government regulation and taxation. Nationalism. Nationalist movements, such as those seen in the United States, Hungary, and Brazil, prioritize the interests of their own nation, often advocating for stricter immigration policies and protectionist trade measures. It's important to note that these are simplified categorizations, and in practice, political ideologies and parties often blend elements from both left and right-wing philosophies. Furthermore, the interpretation of what constitutes left and right can vary significantly depending on the region and time period. For example, a political party considered left-wing in one country might be seen as centrist or right-wing in another. In recent years, political polarization and shifting ideological landscapes have challenged the traditional left-right framework. New issues, such as digital privacy, technology regulation, and global interconnectivity, have emerged as critical elements in contemporary political discourse, making the classification of political ideologies more complex than ever. In conclusion, the classification of political ideologies into left and right wings provides a useful framework for understanding and analyzing political thought and action. The left is generally associated with ideas of social equality and government intervention, while the right emphasizes individualism and limited government. However, it's essential to recognize that this categorization is a simplification of complex political ideas and that real-world politics often involve a combination of elements from both sides. The left-right spectrum continues to evolve as societies face new challenges and opportunities in the modern era, making it a dynamic and ever-relevant framework for political analysis.